In North India, it's paratha served with vegetable curry. In Finland, it's open sandwiches with hard cheese or cold cuts. The Brits have their bangers and mash, but across the world, breakfast comes in all sorts of sweet and sour variations. On the west coast of Canada, we like our eggs. Today, we offer a breakfast recipe of steak and egg hash, caramelized onion hollandaise, and a roasted tomato. Now that's something to wake up for. I'm Garret Schack, and that's what we're cooking on the coast. Welcome to Cookin' on the Coast. Today we're creating a breakfast recipe of steak and egg hash with caramelized onion hollandaise and roasted tomatoes. It'll be the perfect way to get any day started. So, let's get started. I've been sort of grating up some potatoes here. It's important to work quickly at this portion of it because we don't want those potatoes to oxidize. You see how fast they turn brown. So we'll finish grating these up. And we're starting with our hash first here. This is going to be the base of our dish, and of course what fills you up at breakfast time. There we go, that looks like enough. Now this idea here comes from sort of wanting to do a breakfast for a whole bunch of people all at the same time. And what's the toughest part? Well, you only have 4 burners to deal with. And when we're working with poached eggs and bacon and all these kinds of things, you run out of space to work. So we're gonna do this right in the oven. Crack a couple of eggs. This is gonna stick all of our good stuff together here, all of our potatoes. We're gonna add some onion here in a second. 2 eggs should do the trick for what we have. Set that aside. Some nicely diced onions. Look at the size of this onion, by the way. Locally grown, organic stuff, and it comes out massive and beautiful. I love it. Here we go. Okay. Quick dice. About half an onion. It's still a potato hash, not an onion hash, so that'll be enough. Right over into the bowl. There we are. I want to get some color in there, so we got some lovely chives here. Chives basically grow like grass. If you don't have them growing in your backyard, plant some. Here we go. Nice little chop. Really quick. This is where you can really hone some of those chopping skills and get fast to doing this stuff. Here we go. Hey-o. There we are. Okay, right in. Of course, potatoes love salt. Little trick, if you ever over salt a soup or something like that, throw a raw potato into your soup and it'll soak up some of that salt. So we're gonna put a fair bit in there. It's okay to be a little heavy-handed. Salt first thing in the morning, never hurt anyone. And cracked pepper. Okay, loosen it up a little bit. Now we're gonna dig right in there with our hands and start mixing it all up. We want to get those eggs incorporated. We sort of want all those potatoes to be coated in that egg, and that'll help keep it from going brown. There we are. This is a wonderful German Baginti potato, grown locally here, right here on the island. So again, a homegrown breakfast. There we are. Okay, at this stage, we have our sheet pan ready. We're just going to give it a quick spray so that it comes off nice and easy, and then we'll pop it into the oven. Spray can here. Okay, get the sides. That's always important because that's where it's going to stick the most. And we just dump that right into the pan. All those onions and eggs. Nice starchy potato. Perfect. Okay, tuck that away. And then we're just going to spread it out nice and evenly. And this is where, let me put it right over here. This is where our hash brown is beginning. There we go. Okay, great. Now again, into a fairly warm oven, we want to look at about, let's say 350, 375 degrees, and we're going to let that cook until it gets nice and golden brown on top. There. Perfect. Now, what's next with this breakfast dish? Our Hollandaise. We're gonna start right here. We have a bay marine that's been simmering away and just a bowl sitting right on top. we have a reduction of white wine. It's got shallots, a little bit of black peppercorn, and it all just combines down and you reduce it down to this really intense flavor. So Hollandaise is basically, it's an emulsion that's made of egg yolk and the white wine, and then we're gonna whisk the butter into it. But we don't want any whites in there. There we are. There's one. And for today's recipe, probably 2 eggs will be enough. We want all that fat from those egg yolks in there. It's all about the cholesterol in this one. Now, it's the breakfast of champions, right? Here we go. Now, you just whisk that up, basically creating a sabayon at this point. Sabayon just refers to the liquor, the wine that's in there, and those egg yolks. Now we're looking to get this to a sort of a frothy stage, but we don't want to scramble it, that's for sure. You'll notice it start to cook right away. Don't stop whisking. Very important that you keep whisking here. It's all right if the water boils out a little bit, no big deal. You can see it's starting to get fluffy already. See the bubbles creating in there? It's exactly what we're looking for. Getting close here. Now, prior to the Second World War and the widespread adoption of the refrigerator, the Australians used to eat tons of steak and eggs. So they figured that that's where it all originated, because of their abundance of beefsteak and lots of fried eggs. You can see we've really got a froth coming on here now, which is great. We're almost there. We're almost ready to start whisking in our clarified butter. In this pot right here, you can see we have just some clarified butter, which simply means we've separated the butter fats and the milks, and all we're left with is that golden color there. Okay, let's add, we'll set this over on our bench here, and we'll start adding our clarified butter. There we go, got a nice consistency there. We'll just slow down our boil. I'll give you a hint. This double boiler right here is going to become our poaching pot for the eggs as well. All right, clarified butter in one hand, whisk in the other. And we'll slowly, very important here to add this slowly. We want to start creating the emulsion first, and then you can start pouring a little quicker. So again, you can see how slowly I'm going, and you'll notice it change right away. It'll start to thicken up on us. There we go. See how it's changing texture already right there? You can see it's starting to get velvety, has a bit of that butteriness to it, and starting to thicken up. That's what we're looking for. Now, the thing to note about Hollandaise is certainly that you can make this about 2 hours ahead of time, but I wouldn't leave it out for any longer than that. So before your party gets going, you can start like an hour, about an hour ahead, that would be perfect, but no more than 2 hours on your counter, okay? And you never want to refrigerate this. I think we're looking pretty good there. And last thing is, it's not your average Hollandaise. We're actually going to add a little bit of caramelized onions here. Goes perfectly with our steak. In they go. Whip that around. There we go. We'll be back to finish our breakfast masterpiece later in the show. But first, right after the break, we're getting out of the studio. You'll want to stick around for that. Perfect, there we go. That smells great. Here we are out on location at Melt Truck, giving cheese a chance. Can't wait to get in and see what Armageddon has all set up for us. All right, so what are you putting together here, Armageddon?
So this is our house specialty. It is our jammer. So it's homemade bacon jam, and bacon jam is about 3 pounds of bacon, about 4 onions. It's got chili peppers, it's got maple syrup, brown sugar, apple cider vinegar.
My mouth is watering just listening to that. That sounds fantastic.
And some really strongly brewed coffee.
Oh, wow.
And I do it with cheddar cheese and sunwing tomatoes. So that goes on there.
Tomatoes, all that cheese.
All that cheese, and it tastes great by itself, but once it warms up, it's just that much better.
Another slice of cheddar on there.
Another slice of cheddar, bit of salt and pepper to bring out the taste of the tomatoes.
Of course, yeah, it's got to be done. And look at this nice hot flat top starts sizzling away
it's
right
wonderful.
away.
And the next one is our cheese lovers with bacon. So
well, we're giving cheese a chance, right? That's the motto here on the milk truck?
Chance. Exactly.
Perfect.
So a slice of Swiss, a slice of cheddar, and we'll do a slice of Havarti, and I always switch up whatever 3 cheeses we can.
I love Havarti on a grilled cheese sandwich. I do it at home all the time.
It's so creamy, just a bit of salt and pepper on that.
Very nice.
And really that's it. It's nice and simple. It's all local ingredients.
Look at that.
Now this
perfectly cooked, crisp bacon. That looks amazing.
Red Barn bacon. Would you like to have a little strip?
Very nice. Oh, I would never say no to a slice of bacon, that's for sure.
Try that. It is candy.
Oh, it's such a nice smoke. I think Red Barn does a great job.
Red Barn has the best bacon,
so good.
So we don't go too light on the bacon.
I love it. Yeah, you're not being too skimpy on the bacon. That's
what
perfect.
People come in for.
When you close it up, do you do it on one side, then close it up?
Then close it up. If there's a lot of customers, I'll have them closed up so I can get more on.
Right.
But if there isn't, if I leave them open face, they grill faster because each side gets the heat at the same time.
It warms through all the way.
Exactly. So
that just looks delicious. Like, what is it that inspired you to open this grilled cheese?
Well, I spent most of my childhood eating grilled cheese.
Because I think most people have, right?
Because it was one thing that you were always allowed to make when Mom wasn't around because you would not burn down the house.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Put a little weight so it gives a little...
Squeeze it all together there, yeah. So was that a necessity that you decided grilled cheese was the way to go? It's what you knew how to cook?
I knew how to cook. It's easy to do. Everybody loves it. And there's really nothing that you can't put between 2 slices of good bread.
True, that's right, yeah. Right? You got the nostalgic of just a plain old cheddar grilled cheese sandwich, or you can get real fancy like you've done here.
Real fancy. And I mean, this is, not overly fancy. We do some pulled pork ones. We've done a Mac Daddy, which is a slab of homemade macaroni and cheese on top of pulled pork and grilled onions.
Cool, man.
But people always come back to the classics.
That's right, yeah.
It's amazing. Perfectly melted. Perfect grilled cheese sandwich.
Have you had it before, or do you come here all the time, or what?
First time. Absolutely perfect.
Cheese and bacon, you just really can't go wrong. It's not rocket science. I'm not a chef. I'm just a home cook.
A guy that loves grilled cheese sandwiches.
Exactly. Right. So I can eat these all day.
Again, that's the beauty of this grilled cheese thing. Is it's whatever you like, right? Like
you can do whatever you wish with it. And then
incredible. Look at that
Excalibur here.
And you find a bigger knife, or?
Well, the beauty is you don't really slice grilled cheese. You just use the weight of the knife because that way the ingredients don't all shuffle around.
That's right, yeah.
And it just comes out wonderfully. So that is cheese lovers with bacon.
Cheese lovers with bacon.
And hear that crunch? That's what you want.
It's incredible. And just a gorgeous bread too. You're using like an artisan bread from a local baker.
Well, the thing with grilled cheese is half of it is the bread. So if you start with great bread, it almost doesn't matter what you put in it because it'll still taste good.
Perfect. Now these are for some hungry customers here.
These are for the hungry customers.
So we'll hand them out.
And the jammer. And you tell me how that is.
Oh, I'm digging in, Arvin. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, please. Do not let grilled cheese sit.
Wow. You're so right. That bacon jam has a really nice sweetness. But the smokiness comes out beautifully too.
The freshness of the tomato just kind of...
Absolutely. And that bread is so crispy and perfect.
Oh, it's wonderful. Most of the cost of the grilled cheese is the bread, but it makes it.
Yeah,
it
absolutely
makes it.
Well, Armageddon, thank you so much for letting me come on and try your grilled cheese here. I see you got a busy lineup of customers here, so I'm going to get out of your hair.
Awesome.
Thanks again very much.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Yeah. We're going to head back into the kitchen now and finish up our recipe. Stay tuned to Cookin' on the Coast. Back to the kitchen to finish up our steak and egg hash with caramelized onion hollandaise and roasted tomato. Up next, our steak. First thing we want to do, we have some gorgeous beef tenderloin here that's been wrapped in bacon. We're going to add a little seasoning, just some nice coarse sea salt, of course the black pepper, and we can't forget the other side. There we are, again salt, black pepper. We're going to give this a quick sear on the pan, and then we're going to finish it in the oven. So add a little oil to our pan here. Not too much. We got some fat going to come out of that bacon that it's wrapped around. All that bacon wrapped around there is going to add a really gorgeous smoky flavor to this dish. There's one. There's two. We'll just let those get a nice caramelization on them. In the meantime, let's get cracking with our eggs here. We have a lightly simmering pot of water here, this wonderful Paderno pot. It has to be lightly simmering. If you go too fast, it'll just split that egg right apart. The other tip, about a cup or two full of white vinegar in your water. Okay, give it a crack on the bench, and we're going to drop it straight in. One. And now you see the vinegar has actually caused those whites to scoop up around the yolk. This is exactly what we're looking for. And we'll do a second egg here. There we are. All right, breakfast in bed is rarely for one, right? So we have two of everything going on here. Now here's a tip. You can cook these ahead of time and dunk them into ice water. For today's purposes, we're going straight to the plate when we're done, so no worries. But you could do them ahead of time to get ready for that big dinner party or big breakfast party that you have going on. Okay, lovely. Check our steaks. They seem to be sizzling nicely. One, there's two. And we're already starting to smell that smoky bacon. Now this breakfast is really coming together. We got hash, we have eggs, we've got bacon, steak, hollandaise, roasted tomatoes. You gotta have some vegetables, right? Pop these right into our pan, and then we'll move over to the oven with them. Now while those are finishing off, let's have a look at our hash brown here. Golden brown, cooked all the way through. Look how amazing that looks. Let's just cut it up. Now, of course, this is way too much just for two today, but we'll just cut one nice portion. We'll put it right in the center of a nice big plate. Okay, starting to come together. And there's our hash brown. Hash literally means to chop in French. So it's just basically chopped ingredients right there. Let's check out our egg. Now you see I have a paper towel right here. That is going to be our blotting cloth. We're going to put it down there because we don't want all this water to run out over our hash brown. There's the next one. See the way those whites have just completely engulfed the yolk and protected it? Perfect. Let's get it right into the center of our plate here, right on top of our hash browns. Now the beauty of this is when you break into that, it's just gonna ooze out and create a sauce on the plate. Put the second one right there. Very nice. And let's go have a look at our steak. Ooh, we got some smoke. Okay, the steaks look lovely. Just move that over. Turn this guy off. There we are. Nice medium rare on the steaks is what we're going for here, which is great. Just one on this plate. Just to the side like that. Got our lovely roasted tomatoes. Just lightly roasted, still on the vine, organically grown, just what we want. And last but not least, the hollandaise that we worked so hard to create. We'll spoon that right over everything here. We've got caramelized onions in there, all those flavors. Look at that. One more. It may not be heart smart, but I can't think of a better way to start my day. Steak and egg hash with caramelized onion hollandaise and roasted tomatoes. It's never too early in the day for a beverage pairing, especially for a special breakfast. With me today is Kate McDonald from Chives Classic Lounge. How are you,
Thanks for
Kate?
having me, Garret.
Hey, pleasure.
Yeah.
Glad you could make it. So what have you got?
Okay, today we're making something called the breakfast martini. We do gin, Cointreau, orange marmalade, fresh lemon, and finish with a piece of toast. And this was created by Salvatore Calabrese because his wife always told him, you have to have breakfast before you leave the house.
Well, it's the most important meal of the day, right? So even bartenders have to eat.
Yes. So we use orange marmalade and serve it with a side of toast.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah. Here is our fresh marmalade, and try to buy the best marmalade that you can because your drink is only as good as its parts.
That makes sense, yeah. So always using quality ingredients, right?
Completely. And then a fresh squeezed lemon in there. And this is key again. Use fresh ingredients when you can. And then
Nice.
we go
You
to
can really
shake.
smell that lemon, hey?
Yeah.
The lemon press really works well.
All of that citrus is so aromatic, and that helps to wake you up in the morning. I always feel like it's a little bit of liquid sunshine.
Very nice. So here's the technique right here. The bartender shake, I love it.
Now, usually we'd use a little bit of a strainer, but in this case, because of all those flecks of the marmalade, we can just crack our tin and pour it
Look
in.
at that, the marmalade's right in there. That's fantastic.
That's part of this being a meal.
Yeah, of course. And then, like you mentioned, this would go with a piece of toast.
Exactly.
Very nice. Well, should we see how this tastes with our steak and eggs here, the breakfast of champions?
Been dying to dig into this.
Fork and knife over there.
Perfect.
I know you've been waiting patiently for it, hey?
This looks
Where to
awesome.
start?
Going right for the egg.
Oh, look at that. See
wow.
the way it just bursts and create that sauce? That's great. I like it.
Awesome.
And some steak.
Gosh,
Oh, nicely cooked.
that looks delicious.
It does, doesn't it? Hey, let go. There we go.
There we go. Okay. Let's
Dig
try the
in.
moment of
Bon
truth.
appetit. So good. The smokiness of the bacon.
Those are perfectly cooked eggs.
After you. Let's see how we made out. Not bad?
Whew. I'm alive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, tell me this wouldn't wake you up first thing in the morning.
Now that is a meal.
Absolutely. Kate, thanks so much for being here
Thank you,
today.
Garret. That was a
We'll finish
pleasure.
this up in a few minutes. Check out our website where you'll find information on today's show and maybe a few surprises. I'm Garret Schack. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to savor the flavor. Let's dig back into this thing.
I'm gonna try tomato.
Absolutely. Try some of these hash browns.